Firstly, let's give a very, very warm welcome to the Deputy Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, Tribhuvaneshwar Saran Singh Dio. I used your full name.
It's a tongue twister, but...
Yes. But, Mr. Singh Dio, how should I describe you? The man who could have become Chief Minister, or the man who wants to become Chief Minister?
Could is always a possibility. Wants is less of the option. But if the opportunity comes, I would be very happy to try and do something.
Now, it is, it's become part of lore. But let's just go back. 2018, the Congress won handsomely. You had a lot to do with that victory. Was there some promise that was made that you would share this term with Mr. Baghel, the Chief Minister, that there would be a rotational Chief Minister?
We had all worked together before the elections, and we got unexpected support. The extent of the support was something we had not visualized before the election. For one, we are extremely thankful to the people of Chhattisgarh, the voters who gave us that opportunity. Other matters are still, let us say, behind curtains, behind closed doors. So I am not yet free to discuss freely on other issues. But it is true that 4 of us had been called to Delhi after the counting was concluded on the 1st, and it was clear that the Congress would be forming the government. So Charandas Mahanji, Tamrata Sahuji, Bhupesh Bhai, myself, 4 of us were called, and there were a round of discussions. And eventually, Bhupesh Bhai's name was declared as the one who would be leading Chhattisgarh as Chief Minister. And there has been speculation in the media since then, since the first day. And now I think it is less of a thing. Now it is what happened, what was there.
So why did you settle for the Deputy Chief Minister? You've now accepted that post. What was behind that?
It was not a settlement.
Okay.
I'm not one who would go for settlements easily.
Right.
Because this matter was there, in the media particularly, and amongst people associated with us. When is it going to happen, Baba? When is the vote taking? When is this going to happen? After all, the media would not be raising it just like that. There must be some matter. So it went on for far too long, actually. And it became a cause of pressure and tension even for me. Because it is very difficult to reply to people every day. The media, very, very frequently. What is going to happen? When is it going to happen? So I had made a suggestion to some of our senior leaders that they should be closed. This issue should be closed. If it is in the realm of the media, there must be something on the basis of which they are raising this issue. So either way, it should be decided. So it should not be left in conjecture whether or not it is going to happen. Eventually, on the 28th of June, when we were called for discussions on the current election strategy, on that day this matter had come up, and I was told that this is the call taken by the party high command. So then there was no scope, not much scope for saying no. If I was to be in the party, then I accept the decision of the high command.
Now, you had the chance. We saw what happened in Madhya Pradesh. We saw Jyotiraditya Scindia upset with Kamal Nath. Somewhat the same arrangements apparently in Rajasthan as well. There was supposed to be some rotational thing happening. Mr. Scindia walked out of the Congress, joined the BJP. Sachin Pilot seems to have reconciled to his position. Why didn't you, were you getting offers from the BJP? Why don't you come? And you could have split the party at that time. Why didn't you do that?
For one, I was never a group person. I was never a person forming a group, and didn't take a single step in forming a group within the Congress. With many things in mind, one of which was that the issue that the media was raising of time sharing, if that comes about, the interests of the party cannot lie in groups. It has to be a family which is together. So I cannot lead an initiative which encourages formation of a group and then say, let us come together. That makes no sense to me. If it is a family, if it is a party, then let the higher-ups decide. Whatever call they take, you go along with that. Otherwise, you go out of the party.
You didn't want to go out of the party.
I could have gone out of the party, but then there were issues like family has been with the party for more than 90, almost 90 years now. So that time spent with the party, sharing with the party, support from the party, contribution to the party, and a lot of our associates in the party.
And you didn't like the BJP or you had some issues with the BJP?
Certain issues, ideological issues.
Like what?
It is awkward to state them. But there are issues, basic ideological issues with the BJP, which I cannot accept. So those were.
You don't want to give us one inkling of what those ideological issues are? You leaving the door open, or you want to shut the door? What is the?
What happened in Gujarat, I cannot accept. Anything like that, and if you take it onto the national stage and want governance on that pattern, that is not acceptable to me as an individual. So either I am in politics with people who share that view, or if there is no space, then sit at home. More skydiving, more places to see.
Now you object to BJP's politics. You mentioned Gujarat.
Some issues, yes.
Some issues. You mentioned Gujarat in particular, and also the style of governance. And yet, I think just 2 weeks ago, you were all praised for Prime Minister Modi, and you said that he had delivered on various promises, and you hoped that he would deliver more. That created a storm across your party as well in other circles.
For one, I don't remember having used our respected Prime Minister's name, Modi ji,
Okay.
in that praise issue.
All right.
I said central government, and when I'm representing a state government, which in the federal structure is an individual entity, there's a separate entity from the center. We work together for the betterment of the people of the country and the state.
I'm actually checking what you said.
Do check.
Yeah.
And what I said was that when we have asked for funds, my experience in the departments I have had, I have not seen that they have given us less. If I was in the Panchayat department, we were probably leading the country in delivery. In the length of kilometers we were allocated, we were doing more than that, and we were getting more money in addition to what we had asked for initially if we had reached the target. And we got bonuses too. If you reach that target, we'll give you that bonus. So because this is a Congress-governed state and that is a BJP-governed central government, so they will not give us that money. That was not there. So what I was stating was something like that, and which is in the federal interest of a structure where the state and the center have to work together. If you're fighting each other all the time, okay, I won't talk to you, you're in the BJP, who's this Congress person in the state? You do what you want to. How will you work together in the federal concept?
And I noticed you made a very fine distinction in the saying, I never mentioned Mr. Modi, I just said the center.
And also,
but he's the center these days.
And I also mentioned Haq.
Right.
These words get brushed aside easily. Like somebody mentioned that you are able to make headlines. I should be more careful in what I say probably. But I like to be free. I like to be open. I make mistakes probably sometimes. But what I also said was Haq. So it is not as if you're being given arms. आप मांग रहे हो, आपको कुछ दिया जा रहा है, कटोरे में कुछ दे दिया. It is not that. It is a respectful arrangement in a constitution which envisages a federal structure where you are working together in partnership, in tandem. You have your field in which you are independent and free to govern, and the central government has its field in which it is free to govern. The state government doesn't look after the army. The central government doesn't look after the police. There are specified areas in which these units work in our constitution. So to uphold that, the nature of that constitution in the best interest of the citizens of the country and the state. Adversarial positions beyond a point. Political platforms, it's okay, you say this, you say that, we say it. You could take out any number of recordings which are not put on record, where I would have been uncomplimentary to the Prime Minister.
But I think the larger point you're making, Mr. Deo and Singh Deo, let's give him a really warm round of applause, because it takes some, really, not just a gentleman, but that's the kind of attitude that we require in the country where opposing parties can cooperate and appreciate each other. And that's, I think, very easy. Now, just a little point. You're Minister of Medical Education. There's a 20-point program that you have to... Is that still on, this 20-point program, or is just added on to you? But my larger question is this. As Deputy Chief Minister, what more powers do you have beyond the 3 portfolios that you have? Do you get a little bit more perks, or is it just...
Currently, I have 5 portfolios.
Yes.
One is the GST,
right.
Commercial tax. One, the Chief Minister has given me Energy Department to look after. Again, very interesting. I am very happy with whatever time I have been able to spend these last few months. Then there is the 20-point program implementation. Then there is medical education. And then there is health and family welfare.
Do you feel for a person of your experience in this, aren't these very lightweight portfolios?
I am very happy with them. See, there are those what we call heavier portfolios. Then they need to be distributed amongst other ministerial colleagues also. I can't take home, I can't take PWD, I can't take urban development, I must not and should not take all what are supposed to be the, so to say, a top bracket of portfolios. They must be shared with other colleagues, and that is what we did. When Bhupesh Bhai sat with me at the time of deciding which portfolios, which ministers would take, he had called me first, he had asked me freely and frankly, Maharaj, which portfolios would you like? I had mentioned finance, I am interested in that. And he said candidly, Ki Maharaj, it is with the CM, so there is no issue. He said, home, anything that you want to take. So I chose these portfolios rather than being given. And so we had some senior top portfolios. I chose health and I chose HRD, Panchayat, PNRD, Panchayat and Rural Development. And then there were the add-ons. Comparatively smaller departments.
But does being Deputy Chief Minister give you any more powers, or
no,
what does it do?
No, not as a minister. It gives you a protocol. Since you're asking, let us say the protocol list that the state has in operation. So the Chief Minister is at number 8.
Right.
The Deputy Chief Minister is at number 13.
Oh.
The Speaker and the other ministers are at number 17.
Right.
So that portfolio comes with that protocol which places you a little above.
Right.
For pettier issues, if you want to ask, you're asking about perks. So now when I go to the airport, they don't screen me. They don't take my mobile and put it through the tray. So it is very silly. Right. But I don't know why. Since you asked, I am sharing with you. So this is what comes with that. And if people may feel you got a little more up, little more regard, officers may feel ki thoda, it's a little above in protocol than the other ministerial colleagues. So if that adds on to that, if it makes things easier in taking decisions in the working field, so that may come about.
Now, in terms of, there's an election coming in probably a month or so, depending on when the government wants to do this. Are you united now with the Chief Minister, or has there been a peace talk, or ye dosti todenge election ka baad? Nahi todenge pehle, but election ka baad todenge.
We have less than 50 days to go.
Right.
And we are very close political colleagues from the formation of Chhattisgarh. We hadn't met before that. When Chhattisgarh state was formed, the issue of food with the Chief Minister, as it came up in these past few years, was there. So Digvijay Singh ji was the Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh, and whatever they had talked there, I was not part of that initiative. And Adivasi Express was initiated. That the first Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh should be from a from the tribal community. Then one of our Youth Congress colleagues, he is no more now, Bhupesh Bhai and Rajesh Tiwari, they were Youth Congress presidents together. So he took me along, he says ki Maharaj, unse milna hai. I said, okay. So in Raipur, went to the Mayura Hotel. In a room we sat. We met for the first time. And then on we worked together. We worked very closely together.
apparently quite friendly. Jay and Veer, you all were called
Jay
before this.
Viru, that came about, and Rajesh Tiwari.
Right.
We didn't have clash of interests.
Right.
Rajesh was from Bastar region, Bhupesh Bhai was from the middle region, I was from the northern part of the state. We are from, so to say, if that counts, it doesn't count much with me, different communities. So there was no clash of political interest either. And we came together and we worked closely together for 18 years. And then when this election came around, after that things started coming. All is not well and this and that. We made every attempt to try and see that things remain as okay as possible. I kept communication channels open. Bhupesh Bhai was also always civil. I don't remember a single occasion where publicly or otherwise he was less than civil. So we maintained that. To say there was nothing would be to speak a falsehood. Something which is open and known to everybody. So there were tensions, there were issues. But we were mature enough to be able to handle them. So, चुनाव के बाद दोस्ती नहीं रहेगी ऐसा कुछ, nothing like that would happen. But I'll make every attempt to see that nothing like that happens.
Looking ahead, would you all stay united and
yes, we will, and we
go
need
to this? I mean, are you all united in front,
yes.
but Piche you're still fighting and jockeying for power?
Not
or for MLA's
so,
seats?
Not so. See, what came up? What came up was that something was decided in the center.
Right.
About time sharing. Whether it was or not, that is behind closed doors. But what came up was something was decided at the center. What we see otherwise is jostling even otherwise. Somebody is made the chief minister and somebody other is trying to work his way to become a chief minister. So if there was something talked about, this situation was not about somebody, trying to do jugaad to become a chief minister. If there was something, it was part of a continuum of whatever may have been talked behind closed doors. So it was not that sort of a thing. I'm trying to oust him. And I will not do that.
Oh, that's a very
I will not do that. I leave it to the High Command to take whatever call. I never did that.
You will not oust.
I will not make any step to, I did not take any step to try to oust him. I will not take any step in the future to try to oust him. I leave it entirely to the High Command to take the call.
Very interesting.
Whatever call they take, I'll stay with that.
That's very interesting. And, I come from Karnataka, and there you had two warring leaders, right? Siddaramaiah and Shiv Kumar. There, the arrangement for chief minister came, deputy chief minister came after the elections. Here you got it before.
We don't know whether it will continue.
But you've also been made a member of this election committee.
Yes, that was a surprise.
Which gives you a lot of power to at least put you in the loop for the MLA tickets that's there, right?
Not really.
Or at least the decision-making
process. As the leader of the opposition, with Bhupesh Bhai as the PCC president, we present ourselves to the election committee. So the difference is that now I'm on the other side of the table.
But you also have a chance to...
That was what I was trying to get at.
Get your views across on
my
selections.
Experience of the Central Election Committee was of very little interference. There, the Central Election Committee doesn't interfere in the decisions which have taken place through a series of...
but you shouldn't be telling me all this. You should be saying it's a very powerful post.
No, I'm just telling you the fact of the matter. It is a great honor.
Right.
A great honor for me that I have been placed in a committee which will be designing tickets for various states apart from Chhattisgarh.
Right.
And I don't know if the committee will continue to the Lok Sabha. If it goes to the Lok Sabha elections, then we would be participants.
Right.
Not very active, but participants in the Lok Sabha tickets. It's a great honor.
Right. You're being very diplomatic on this, but let me just come to the...
Play comes in, what you are indicating, at the PEC level.
Right.
The Pradesh Election Committee, the screening committee, here you take names, you put suggestions, you either lobby, if you call it lobbying, or say that this is the better candidate. It is, I don't do it for just a candidate. If I feel this candidate is the better candidate, then personally I put a view. So there this takes place here. It is taking place today. And in a very good atmosphere. Very good atmosphere.
No, because I also want, the Prime Minister was in the state today and he addressed a rally in Bilaspur, and there he said Parivartan is finalized and that the Congress is to be removed from power. And he's confident that it will be. So would you say, and he claimed this is a declaration for change. What is your sense of the prospects for the Congress? Are you confident that you will be re-elected, and why?
Our Prime Minister said that in Bihar. Our Prime Minister said that in West Bengal. Our Prime Minister said that in Himachal Pradesh. Our Prime Minister said that in Karnataka. So this is the posturing that you have to do. You are the political elected head of a party. When you go to an electioneering state, how will you say that I'm going to lose but vote for me? You've got to say that I'm going to win. So everybody will go to any state and say, I'm going to form the government, vote for me. So it is like that. But here I am quite clear, not just as a Congress person. To the extent I can be neutral as possible and as unbiased as possible, an observer, the Congress will form the government.
So what are the key issues of this election? Why do you think the Congress will form the government?
One, what it has delivered. I was also had some professional agencies do surveys in 45 constituencies. And all the 45 constituencies that the feedback has come, it is a clear positive for the government. The MLAs have question marks.
How many?
MLAs have question marks.
Okay.
That is true. But the government in each constituency, irrespective of the support share for the MLA, is clearly above 50% in every one of the 45 constituencies.
So what are why do you think the Congress is ahead? I mean, you have to praise your friend Mr. Baghel now. In some
we are
senses.
good associates and we should be very good friends also. Agriculture. No country no state in the country is giving what Chhattisgarh is giving to its farmers. No state in the country is providing such remunerative rates for forest produce as Chhattisgarh is doing.
Right.
No state in the country, I think, I am not very sure about this particular thing, is supporting self-help groups, women self-help groups to the extent that Chhattisgarh is supporting value addition, etc., and conceptualizing a concrete target for their income, not less than 6,000 per month per lady, not the group,
right.
The lady. So 60,000 for a group of 10 ladies per month on an average. Education, Hindi, English, this has always been there. Parochialism, all this has been there. But to understand that in competitive job seeking, English also plays a role. So then to provide a more equal playing field for our students from Chhattisgarh, to encourage Swami Atmanand schools, English medium schools. I just got 2 in my constituency.
Yes, and I was very, out of, I think half of them are English medium schools that has been sanctioned.
Yes. So that has certainly provided a very good initiative. There are other things I could go into, it will take time. Power is one.
What about,
employment is one, and unemployment is one. And the other issue which we talked about in the session before this, an identity for Chhattisgarh.
The pride.
So where is Chhattisgarh? What is Chhattisgarh? Naxalism. What is Chhattisgarh? Backwardness. What is Chhattisgarh? Jungle mein rehne wale, forest dwellers. They're not developed. They don't count for much. They don't contribute much. So we may have a flagship Bhilai plant. We may be contributing to the development of Japan by providing iron ore. They are dumping our iron ore in the sea for decades to come as raw material. Nobody talks about that. Bauxite from here producing so many inputs for our army. Products of the aluminium factory that we have in Chhattisgarh, nobody talks about that. I could count so many other things which you don't count for, whether it is forest produce or otherwise. Chhattisgarh, Naxalism. Chhattisgarh, backwardness. So this government has been able to encourage and inculcate a sense of respectful identity amongst the people of Chhattisgarh. This slogan, Chhattisgarhiya Sable Badhiya, has been there for a couple of years. It has not been coined by this government. It has been there, but it was in the background. Suddenly, this government, with Bhupesh's leadership, has been able to project a positive identity for the people of Chhattisgarh. Who talks of Pandwani? We have a dance style here, which is extremely popular. Who talks about that? We have ladies, Sonabai, who has got President's Award for cottage motifs, clay motifs that have been, paper mache that is being done. Who knows that the highest amount of zinc is produced in Chhattisgarh in the country? Nobody talks about that. Nobody knows that. So where is Chhattisgarh? So that, with these things that the government has been able to do, it is a healthy, positive mix, and it will see the government through this election.
Now, the Prime Minister mentioned, he didn't mention all this, but mentioned Bhrashtachar, corruption. And there have been cases leveled against certain senior officials in the state. There has been a mining scam, a liquor scam, other scams as well. I'm not going to go the whole lot. Is this going to stick in the election? What is your view on this? I mean, this is a very powerful argument because...
Had it gone to political representatives, it would have made a difference. It is limited to officers. And the stand of the government, as well as of all of us, has clearly been, if there is something wrong has been done by an individual, you take action. We are supporting action against anybody who has indulged in any corrupt practice. So that is there. If it comes on to individual political...
So you are saying it is not going to impact, it's not going to be a big factor in determining...
They have, this use and misuse of ED, it has been taken beyond a point. Then it becomes stale. The perception is that they are doing it just to trouble these people. If there is something wrong, put them in jail. You are at the center, you have the power, the agency is controlled by, let us say, central government, public representatives or whatever. So what is stopping you from taking action? If there is proof, they say, you are corrupt. You are the people sitting at the center with all the authority to take action. You are saying there is corruption, you are not taking action. Are you part of it? By default. Why didn't you take action? You take action if you know. Don't allege. As a Prime Minister, as a Home Minister, it is not expected of you to make allegations. You take action. I am corrupt. Put me behind bars. Don't say T.S. Baba is corrupt. T.S. Baba is corrupt.
This clapping is spontaneous. I didn't ask for it. So they like your reply.
Thank you.
But let's look at another quick issue and then we'll wind up. I know you've got other things to do. Anti-incumbency. You kind of hinted at it that in this limited survey that you did of 45, half of the total number, there is a problem. Now, you are also sitting in the Central Election Committee. You're going to be also watching what's going to happen in Chhattisgarh. How much of this anti-incumbency is on the MLAs and, on the government, and what needs to be done? What would your advice be if you had to?
See, I'm a third-term MLA this time. I've got the chance to be part of the government, and I've got the opportunity to work as a minister. As a minister, I have to give time to my department. I have to take meetings. I have to clear files. I may have cleared about 5,000 to 10,000 files in this period. Study those files to some extent, go through them, read them, give directions. You can't do that by staying in the constituency. COVID, 1.5 years in COVID. I have not been in my constituency as long as I would have been otherwise. As an MLA, I was seen as कि ये बड़ा अच्छा MLA. हम जब बुलाते हैं ये आ जाता है.
So are you saying remove all the ministers?
No, I am saying when you come into government,
right,
you will face anti-incumbency.
Right.
Whether it is me or whether it is anybody, I can sense that how people will support me is now for them to do. But I can sense it as a political individual. I have been in politics, my family has been in politics for so long. I can make this assessment.
So would you say a third of the MLA should go, or you shouldn't be renominating?
No set formula. No set formula. There should never be any formulas. As little as possible. The only one formula should be the winning candidate. The person with the best chance of winning, not he has won, best chance of winning, should be given the ticket. And in that, whether it is the sitting MLA or a new person, he should be given the ticket.
Why doesn't the Congress be bold enough? You have had this women's reservation bill passed. Do you need a law? Why don't you give 33% of your seats to women in this election and prove the BJP and show them for what they are? If they are saying let's do it in 2029, not now, why can't the Congress take the lead and do it?
My sister, who's 3 years my younger, she's contested 9 elections. She lost last time in Himachal. She won 6 times. She lost 3 times. One day we were discussing about women's reservation. So she said, why reservation? हम अपने दम पे जीत के आएंगे? Why a crutch of reservation for us? Reservation is needed because of social factors. That is a given. It will come. It is there. In other fields, it will come in. It has come in one way or the other in this. When you are fighting an election, just to give a ticket on the basis of any quota, youth, youth Congress, we have to give so many tickets. Seva Dal, we have to give so many tickets. Mahila Congress, we have to give so many tickets.
But you are going against your party. Your party says give OBC tickets. They were quite happy with the reservation, but
keep it in mind. Keep it in mind, certainly. OBCs, why should they not be given if they are winning candidates?
No. So my question is simple. Why doesn't the Congress now say, okay, we will upstage the BJP, 33% of women reservations will start in...
We don't want to upstage anybody. We want to win the election by giving the best possible candidate who has the chance to win. No quota. Yes, my personal view is that if it is equal, if in your assessment there are 3 people, A, B, C. A is a male, B is a lady, C is a youth, and they are equal, then give it to B or C. If they are equal in assessment, more or less equal chances of winning, then give it to the lady or the youth. But if A, so to say, who's supposed to be in a male-dominated society, don't cut him out just because he's a male. Don't cut him out just because he's young or old. If he has better chance of winning, give it to him. But equal chances, give it to the lady. Next, give it to the youth.
So that's your thing. You're saying, and you're okay to wait till 2029 when the law comes into force, and then hopefully the law comes, what they say, 2034.
That will make it more equal. Giving it as a quota to a weaker candidate is cutting your own feet. It is immature and silly. Just to satisfy a quota, you say do it like that and you lose the election. Why should you give to a lady not on merit? Give it to the lady on merit. And you'll see the Congress will be giving more tickets than last time to ladies this time.
Well, we'll see that, and I think...
I'll guarantee that.
Okay, we look forward to that guarantee, but you haven't given a percentage, but that's okay.
More than last time.
More than last time. I don't know, quickly Rahul can tell me how much last time we percentage.
General Secretary just mentioned in the media her thinking of 2 in each Lok Sabha, which takes it to 22. He's on record.
Right.
2 ladies we are looking at in each Lok Sabha.
Each Lok Sabha.
So we have 11 Lok Sabha seats. Right. That straight away pegs it at 22.
Right.
So some may have less, some may have more. But we are looking at something around 20. We are clearly looking at something around 20. That's why I said 20.
My final question is that Congress wins. Will you be the Chief Minister?
Whoever the High Command makes. Today, see, today, frankly, before the last election, who were in line? The PCC President, Leader of the Opposition, senior leaders. So this election, who will be in line? Chief Minister and some senior leaders. Chief Minister.
But your hat will be in the ring.
I will not say I don't want to be the Chief Minister. I won't say that ever. I would be happy to be given that responsibility.
But you're saying let the best man win.
Let the best man win and let the High Command take the call.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the Deputy Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh, give him a very warm round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you.